on the initiative of 100 Days Health Initiative under the auspices of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. We have the pleasure to have this phono with Dr. Islam Anan, Lecturer of Health Policy and Health Economy at Ain Shams University. Good afternoon, sir.
Hello, good afternoon, Ms. Amal, and good afternoon to all your audience.
Dr. Anan, this is an initiative that is launched, that started on the 25th of June, which is titled 100 Days Health Initiative, under the auspices of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, and Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli announced the launching of the this initiative on the 25th of June. It's going to last for 3 months, I mean, until October. And actually we saw this on the ground. In the day that they announced the launching of the 100 Days Health, we saw cars everywhere standing under the main buildings here in Egypt or in Cairo, and the ministry under the ministries, and they are helping the employees and even people who are passing by to check to make a checkup. So tell us about this, please.
Sure. So if we are talking about 100 days of health, we are talking about a booster. It's like a booster for the presidential initiatives launched in 2018 for the 100 million healthy lives. So it's not a new presidential initiative. However, it's a combination of all the previous ones. We are talking about hepatitis C campaign. We are talking about non-communicable diseases campaign, testing blood sugar and testing hypertension. We are talking also about women's health. So it's checking for breast cancer, checking for the other cancer types, which was actually launched a month ago. And we are talking as well for children health. We're talking about Healthy Ears campaign. We are talking about the stunting, anemia, and obesity campaigns for children, school children. So we are talking about a campaign which is aiming for reboosting and encouraging all the Egyptian citizens to go back to the health unit, whether they actually went before in the presidential initiative or if they are the first time to join. The main aim is because Egypt put a vision in 2030 of having a person-centric healthcare, which means that we don't want to just treat diseases or treat patients. We would like to have major aspects in preventive medicine, on having healthy individuals and trying as much possible preventing diseases from even being emerged. So we are talking about presidential initiative. In 100 million healthy lives, the presidential initiative reached around 70 million Egyptian citizens. We are talking currently about thousands of Egyptians visiting the new presidential booster every day. As you mentioned, through caravans, through the primary healthcare in all governorates. So our main thing that after the 100 days, that people will be actually checking their health, and most important, to have the culture of checking out everything regarding their health, even without symptoms. This is the main aim of all the campaigns. Not only going to physicians and primary care if they are having any symptoms, or just checking their health, and if there's any disease that we can discover in early stage, it will be much better. And even from economic perspective, it's much cheaper to treat it this way than discovering it in late stage. For example, if we are talking breast cancer, in early stage of breast cancer, patients can survive. We can do a surgical operation or some main drugs, and it will cost a couple of thousands. If it's discovered in late stage, unfortunately, most of cases will eventually die. And we are talking about more than 100,000 Egyptian pounds per patient for treatment. So this is the main aim, economically with high return on investment, and eventually it will reach the 2030 vision of having a person-centric care.
Yes, so Dr. Anan, we saw this on the ground. The cars are spread everywhere, the ambulance cars, and we see that people are going and checking all in these cars. So the the idea of this initiative, 100 Days of Health initiative, that is spread everywhere in Egypt and other governorates. What does this show of how the political leadership understands the mentality of the Egyptian character? I mean, in Egypt, people does not usually go to check up, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, we know this very well. The media and every channels are providing help and giving awareness for the people always, every now and then, to make a checkup. But people never go to a hospital except when they are very ill. So what does this show of how the political leadership understands the character of the Egyptian people?
That's a very important question. Yes. So the main aim of having any campaign, especially when we are talking about preventive campaign, meaning that people will just seek primary health care without any symptom, we must make it suitable to the culture. For example, if we launch presidential initiatives with a complete digitalization and having it online for registration, and for example, with a remote medical help, I believe it was not going to make any success at all. And it was actually tried previously in many countries. The suitability and understanding the culture, as you exactly said, is very important because we are actually putting people on ground. The healthcare professionals are on ground. And there's a very important role for patient educators, what we call in Arabic al-mutaqqif al-rifaya, which actually is a very important role in inviting all the citizens from villages, from cities, to visit the primary healthcare unit. They can even visit the medical caravans, which is the cars spread out all over the governorate, and they can do the medical check for free. And understanding this culture led to the success of 100 million healthy lives, and we are talking about 110 million medical service offered from 2018 to date, and we are talking about hundreds of thousands of visits so far in 100 days initiative. Yes. That's one thing. The other thing is, I believe that after COVID, the culture of Egyptians slightly moved towards checking their health, and they are more acquainted about going to health units, and especially that they are getting a database, they can actually monitor and they can track their health year after year through initiatives. Even if we are talking about the Pregnant Women Initiative, for example, it's a free service for all pregnant women in Egypt. So having said all that, I believe that we do have now the culture. The culture changed. I believe this is because of the media, what we are actually discussing right now. You have a big role in that. The role of understanding the mindset of Egyptians from the Ministry of Health and from the presidential office is a very big asset and a milestone in the success of the presidential initiative itself. And finally, Egyptians are actually the core of the success of this presidential initiative, having understanding that it's very important to check my health even if I'm not having any symptoms, as exactly you said.
Yes, this initiative, 10 Days of Health initiative, is going to last for 3 months until October. So do you think this is a good, long time to be able to check all the Egyptians and every passers-by?
And that's another good point. So if we are talking about the 3-month initiative, it's not a separate one, and it's not a standalone presidential initiative. It's the continuum of the 100 million healthy lives presidential initiative. So we're talking that all the presidential initiatives that are actually starting 2018 are still running. The 100 days aims to remind all Egyptians and putting a lot of focus on definite and significant presidential initiative, as we said, like non-communicable diseases, the breast cancer initiative. We're talking about the children health. So putting some light and some focus on certain initiatives that they are still running. We're just making a booster for the presidential initiative. After the 100 days, the presidential initiatives will continue. We're talking about 20 presidential initiatives. They're not going to actually finish after the 3 months. However, as you mentioned exactly, it's a very good opportunity to highlight that all the healthcare units are actually there. We're just making a booster. Go check your health, even if you went before in a non-communicable disease to check your hypertension and diabetes profile. Just go and check. Maybe Now we can just manage it with some diet and exercise. No need for treatment that if you are checking later when you are ill, we will have to do systemic therapy and treatment. And after the 3 months, you will actually hearing again the start of that school children initiative, for example, which is happening every year. The pregnant women initiative will continue. We do have 4 cancer initiatives that started last month, and they will continue even after the 100 days initiative.
I thank you very much.
It's very important just to remind people that after the 100 days, it will not going to actually close the file of the prevention issue.
Yes, I thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your valuable information, Dr. Islam Anan, Lecturer of Health Policy and Health Economy at Ain Shams University. Thank you very much for joining us over the phone, ladies and gentlemen. A short break, and I'm going to be back with you.